This is the Video Game Votary. Show your support and hit subscribe right now.
What's going on, Video Game Votary Vanguard? It's your boy, the Video Game Votary, here with another episode. So, as promised, this video is going to be the review as well as comparison of the Nintendo Switch OLED in comparison to the Nintendo Switch version 2. We're going to do some side-by-side comparisons. We're going to look at the docks, the screen dimensions, and any other things that differentiate version 2 of the Nintendo Switch from the Nintendo Switch OLED. So to find out what those differences is and get my review, sit back, subscribe, catch the vibe, find out next. Okay guys, welcome back. Before we get today's video started, if you're a fan of video game content, convention coverage, pickups videos, live streams, and much more, be sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell, turn on notifications so that you'll miss a single episode. And as always, we upload every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4 p.m. right here on the Video Game Votary. All right guys, welcome back to the episode. So right here we see before us the Super Mario edition of the Nintendo Switch version 2. Right beside it, we got the Nintendo Switch OLED. These are both the docks. And as you can see, we're going to just start off with the natural aesthetic. The OLED has a more rounded, sleeker style to it. Also, quite noticeably, the Nintendo Switch logo on the version 2 is a lot larger than on here. You can barely see it. It's a lot smaller. It's a lot more rounded as opposed to square. So let's turn them on the side. We're going to compare those. So nothing's changed there. Both have 2 USB ports. We're going to turn them on the right hand side. Nothing's changed there. It's exactly the same. Now, this is where it gets different. Slight design change here. That's more square. This is more sleek and more round. Of course, you know, that's where the cords come out at, your HDMI, your power adapter, and spare USB. So this one folds down like the traditional Switch does. You look inside of here, AC adapter port, another USB port, as well as a HDMI port. Now, Switch OLED. Biggest difference here. This back plate is fully detachable. So that's number one. Also, it looks like it's maybe some exhaust ports here. Maybe here, I'm not sure what that is right there. But you can kind of clearly see that this is a heat exhaust section right in here. Big difference here. Same place, you got the AC adapter port, HDMI. But below that, that's the major difference there. You have a LAN port. So you can plug your Ethernet cable in as opposed to spending extra money for USB to Ethernet adapter to connect to the internet. And I can honestly say, as soon as I saw this and used it right away, it definitely paid dividends, especially with NBA 2K constantly updates. And it's a big update as soon as you get the game. So I docked it, plugged in the Ethernet cable, and the download was super fast. So that's one thing that I think Nintendo did a plus on. So kudos to them for that, you know, trying to get back to the customer a little bit. You know how these some of these companies do. They want you to buy and spend more money. But I think that was pretty cool of them to do that. So that's a plus if you can get your hands on the Nintendo Switch. So let's go over to the actual handheld. We're going to look at startup, screen size, and comparison and everything like that. Yeah, and I also want to point out they're pretty much the same size. So you put them side by side, one in front of the other. OLED appears to be just a tad bit thicker, but not very much. But just kind of looking at them in comparison, the Switch OLED is a lot more sleeker. It's definitely more sexy, with it being more rounded as opposed to square, looking like a box. You know, Nintendo has a thing about creating these like box-like consoles. So I think they did something different. They made it a little bit sleeker, a little bit rounder. I think it's pretty cool looking, especially with like that shiny black. I think that that's a good look, as well as the white. It pairs really well with it. It looks great. It's great on the eyes, especially if you got the PS5. It looks great sitting next to it, matching that white and black. All right, guys, so we got both switches powered up. You see the screens. Wait a minute. Start them up. So I put Cuphead on both for the sake of comparison for both screens. As you can see here, now the biggest difference between these two, and let me just point out the actual spec differences in both. So the original Switch is a 6.5-inch screen. The Nintendo Switch OLED has a 7-inch screen. Also, another difference is the internal storage. On the original Switch has 32 gigabytes. Nintendo Switch OLED has 64 gigabytes of internal storage. So those are the major differences in them. And let me start up a game just so you guys can see the difference, one in the screen as well as the gameplay size. So let's go to Cuphead. We'll start them both out. Somebody apparently was playing Fortnite. All right, so I got to do them separately because since this is a game, it's on my account and then linked. I got to show one at a time. So this is Switch OLED, and right off the bat, the screen itself looks very awesome. It did a really good job. I love that OLED screen. This camera's not really going to do it any justice. You got to see it firsthand. But even just the viewing space of the game itself is just a very big upgrade. So let's just start the game. I gotta use two hands for this. Hang on. All right, so we got Cuphead fired up. I believe that the speaker system is a little bit better on the OLED. The screen for sure is a lot better. Like I said, underneath the camera, it's not going to do it any justice. We all know it's impossible to play Cuphead with one hand. So I'm actually going to stop this and I'm going to fire it up on the version 2 Switch so we can do a comparison. Okay, here's Cuphead on the version 2. As you see the screen, a lot more viewing space, better looking screen. So I'm gonna try to pull something up. I'm gonna try to just pull up YouTube because that's something I can put on both consoles, I believe, and be able to play the same thing so you can actually see them side by side, top to bottom. Guys, so unfortunately, not even YouTube will start up on both consoles because they're saying the content is being played on another console. So I'll give you guys my review of the OLED. Overall, I'm very impressed with it. I'm very happy with it. I'm glad I did the trade in and trade up. I really love the screen. Definitely better colors, better presentation. I also believe that the speakers are a tad bit better as well. Just the viewing space of the game itself is a great experience as well. The overall design. And I actually believe that the OLED is a little bit heavier. That's probably because of the screen. Because when I went back and actually picked up my Switch version 2 after a while, because I hadn't put that in handheld mode in quite some time, I definitely noticed a weight difference. But as far as the game is concerned, the consoles and the game itself is a better experience, especially, if you're big into playing handheld mode. I would definitely suggest picking up a Switch OLED if you get the chance. I personally believe it's worth trading in the Switch Lite. But if that's what you want to do, the choice is yours. But I'm very thoroughly happy with it. I think they did an excellent job. Would I say it's worth the $50 value? I would say yes. Because, just for 50 more bucks, you get a better screen. You get a bigger screen. You get more internal storage. You also get a better dock that includes the Ethernet LAN port, which that may not be big to some people, but if you have the Nintendo Switch Online or you playing online and stuff like that, that definitely is a factor, if that's what you're into. They also corrected some things. Another thing I want to point out too, I almost forgot about, another big difference in them, the kickstands. Now, the Switch was notorious for these kickstands breaking. They started making the aftermarket ones and everything. This even feels flimsy as I open it. And what they did with the new one, they made it a lot bigger. So it's able to stand and support itself. You get if you do tabletop mode, You can have it at different angles, different viewing angles and stuff like that. You know, which is great when you're on the road. If you put on YouTube, they also added Twitch to the Nintendo eShop, so you can watch Twitch, watch your favorite streamers, including myself, once I get back to the platform. So overall, man, you know, it's impressive. I'm not mad at it. I think it was worth it. As you can see there, even just sitting there with them on their kickstands, there's a very, very big difference there, man. There's a big difference. Even just having a little bit more of a viewing angle. I don't know how many people will play in tabletop mode, but, you know, still a little bit better. And you could just see right away, if I had the same games downloaded, you would be able to tell a little bit about the screen. Not so much here. Not to mention my version 2 screen is dirty from the kids playing on it. But yeah, I'm impressed with it. I'm happy with my purchase. I'm glad I have it in the collection. I'm glad I was able to hunt one down. So let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. Okay, guys, so that was my review of the Nintendo Switch OLED as well as the comparison to the Nintendo Switch version 2. So let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. Is it something that this video gave you a little more insight, some information, make you want to go pick up the Switch OLED? Do you think it's enough differences to compensate for the price differences, about 50 bucks? Let me know down in the comment section. Let's start the conversation up. It's your boy, the Video Game Votary. We out.
Thank you for watching. Follow me on all social media platforms at VideoGameVotary.